We're good to go, Catherine? Okay, thank you. We got everybody we need here, right? Yeah. I will call this meeting to order, the July 24th regular council meeting of County of Newell, which has been moved to Friday instead of Thursday this month for reasons of conflicting schedules. We have the minutes circulated for the July 9th council meeting. Are there any errors or omissions? Any errors or omissions? And if not, a motion to approve as circulated. Motion to approve. Thank you, Dean, Councillor Scanderup. All in favor, please indicate. That is carried. Thank you. Are there any post-agenda items? No post-agenda items. Seeing none, a motion to approve the agenda as circulated. Councillor Pop, thank you. All in favor, please indicate. That is carried. Are there any questions electronically or notices of motion by councillors? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 7, bylaws. Bylaw 2134-26 is an amendment to bylaw 2112-26, and I think just an update or an upgrade of red tape reduction, we'll call it. But Jeff, if you'll take us through that, please.
Thank you very much. Today, this amending bylaw 2134-26 is being enacted in order to revise bylaw 2112-26 to better reflect the description of the lands that were identified in the bylaw. Section 63 of the MGA gives the council the authority to amend a bylaw and make changes without materially affecting the bylaw in principle or substance to bring out more clearly what is considered to be the meaning of the bylaw. Section 63 also further goes on to say that the CAO must certify that he approves of the amendments to the bylaw. You'll see that letter from the CAO in your package. It also requires that the title of the revised bylaw must include the words revised bylaw. So we're here today looking at a road closure and sale application, and what happened, what we typically do during a road closure and sale in a full mile or half mile section is we will write the agreement based on description. Now, as we remember, this is a road closure and sale for the applicant to be able to construct an accessory building which would encroach on the road allowance as it exists. So council did agree to the closure and sale. The public hearing was held, and first reading February 12th. The Minister of Transportation and Economic Corridors approval was received April 30th, and second and third reading were received May 21st. So because this was a closure and sale, it had to be accepted at the Land Titles Office, and Land Titles is incredibly picky and sticky on wording, and it is not uncommon for things to get kicked back and have to be redone. So in an effort to better clarify the bylaw without amending it, the applicant has solicited Midwest Surveys to create a plan that will be sent to Land Titles with the bylaw amendment to better clarify the intent of the bylaw and provide a better description of the area to be closed and sold. All the costs are being covered by the applicant. We're quite confident that this will be accepted in this form. So at this point, we're just asking for council to make all 3 readings of this revised bylaw today at this meeting. And I can answer any questions.
Thank you, Jeff. I think that's fairly straightforward, although without explanation. It caused some questions, I'm sure, in the minds of some of you if you were familiar with the location. Are there any questions? Well explained to us. Thank you, Jeff. With that, I'll suggest that we move through the 3 readings if council is amenable to that. Councillor Chrisman, move first reading?
Yes, I do.
Thank you for that. All in favor, please indicate. That is carried. Do we have someone to move second reading? Councillor Baumgarten, move second reading. All in favor, please indicate. That is carried as well. And then in order to move third reading on the same day, we need a motion for consent for third reading. Is someone amenable to that? Councillor Hofer? Thank you. All in favor that council move to third reading today? That is also carried. And with that, a motion for third reading. If so, Councillor Skanderup moves third reading. All in favor, please indicate. That is carried.
Thank you.
May none of your problems be more complicated than this one. Thank you. Yeah. With that, we'll move on to item number 8, Agriculture Services Business. Welcome, Catherine.
All righty. So Todd's on the Rural Beautification Tour today, so you get to listen to me. I'll just jump right into it. So it's been a wet start to the season, making schedules tight and a lot of pressure to make the hay while the sun shines. But on a good note, the equipment is in great shape as we've had some time to keep things maintained. Roadside spraying was completed in early July. The new spray truck had some hiccups, but we are hopeful that all the bugs have been ironed out now. There will be some roads that need a touch-up in the south, and we intend to ensure that the new truck gets out there. It's a great year for weed control this season with all the extra rain, so we are mindful to keep an eye on the second and third flushes of kochia, not only on our roadside, but in all our hamlets and everything. So, and I just wanted to add, we are doing some road shoulders spraying for municipal services here next week, so just to add that. Roadside mowing has been going as expected. Some rain delays and some exceptional growth has slowed the crew down, but they're nearly on track for our normal schedule. We are hopeful to finish up first pass here in early August, which would be 1 week behind schedule. But we currently have no plans to include a fire watch, but we are keeping that in mind as things are drying up fairly quickly. So. The Bow River program kicked off, Todd put here on the 20th, but they actually started on the 21st because we had to finish up some other projects. With our targeted weeds changing a bit, we normally just used to spray and pick scentless chamomile, but we're finding some additional weeds out there. So common tansy, yellow toadflax, black henbane, and leafy spurge. So it changes the timing and focus a little bit for the crew. The chamomiles with the heat and stuff is a little bit ahead of schedule, so they're going to probably be doing some additional picking of scentless chamomile out there. While we waited for the river shores to dry up, the crew was able to complete the first club route survey with some fields needing a second look, so we'll be taking some looks of some canola fields here in the next few weeks, but limited symptoms were spotted. 6 fields for bacterial ring rot will be surveyed this year. Seems to be increasing each year. Last year, I think we did 5. There was a time when we only had 1 or 2 to look at. So the crew took a bit of a refresher training here in early June and on the signs and symptoms of bacterial ring rot. So hopefully they have the right knowledge to check things effectively. Just going to add, we're also going to be doing grasshopper training and some surveys for that here in August, I guess, beginning of August here. Emerson Bridge had a little bit of a slow start to the season. It was raining a lot, so not a lot of campers out there. So we continue to work on, the bat population. It's been noted that the population continues to decline, but our instance of the white nose syndrome has decreased. They are doing one more treatment here in this week. The probiotic in the wings, so they're going to be out there doing that. And great news, the pump track has been constructed. I was out there, it looks really great. To finish up the project, they're just going to put some signage up, and they're going to put a few benches in for the, as Todd noted, the patient parents to watch their kids go round and round. The Hamlet program is running smooth. We haven't had a lot of time to tackle other projects in the hamlets, but for the most part, our public areas have been maintained to a respectable level. Lots of events going around the county this season, so we've been trying to keep those in mind when making our mowing schedule to keep everyone happy. So from family reunions to weddings to community events. So just to be mindful of that. Real beautification judging took place on July 17th. And Todd will be presenting more in person, as none of this was available when he wrote this. But the tour is taking place today, and they had a lot of attendees. I think there was like 85 attendees, so I think it's like a record high, so that's awesome. Rental equipment has been out a fair bit, and we are happy to report the numbers as follows. So the drill, the conventional drill has 11 renters so far, 1,346.7 acres. The no-till drills had 38 renters, 1,660.8 acres. And the Brilliant, 6 renters, 161.4 acres. Livestock equipment, the scale, 4 renters, the shooting panels, 2 renters, and the calf table, 2 renters. Sprayer, the boomless we got 2 of them, but there's 4 renters, and the 3-point hitch sprayer had 1 renter. And the barbecue was super busy, so 18 rentals so far this summer, so I think almost every weekend it's been booked. We received 8 cases of strychnine, but have not sold any to date. I know Todd had in here 3 producers have done their training, but it's actually 8 producers. He doesn't have access to that, so I updated that for him. Completed the training, and we'll be reaching out to them. As we move through the season, we anticipate to get in the rest of our order. It has been back ordered, the second order, so I'm not too sure when we'll receive that. But we're hoping to get most of the producers on the list, some strychnine, so that in 2027 they can be ready for control season. We completed the ASB field visit with Alan and Garrett on July 9th after our meeting together before our last council meeting. We toured Alan and Garrett through the shop and chem shed, showed them where we store our 1080 and our strychnine, and as well as a quick run through the equipment that we had on site. And then from there, Garrett went home, and then Todd and I toured Alan around and showed him some noxious weed program and some of our shelter belt tree planting sites. And so we anticipate getting the report back in the fall.
Thank you, Catherine. Are there any questions? Councillor Scandrop, please.
I'm just wondering if we could get some pictures of that pump track, because from what I understand, it's the only one in the area south of Calgary. So if we could get some of those and put them on our website maybe for Emerson Bridge, that just to let people know that it's out there.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think they've advertised it yet just because they don't have the proper signage up yet. I know it's in the making, but yeah, I'll for sure let Todd know. And did he send council any pictures yet? No? Okay. I'll get him to email some around.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Councillor Cobb.
Do we get to know the details of the beautification awards? Like who won and stuff?
Yeah.
Councillor Chrisman, you've got a response to
I
that?
can report on that because I was a judge.
Yeah, Kelly was a judge, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So we toured 3 sites and we chose first, second, and third. First went to Shane. Am I allowed to say?
I don't know. No.
It is. It's on the tour, like it's public, so.
It's included in today's tour, right?
Yeah, it's noted in the
The
pamphlet.
info's out. So
Sure, okay.
I just saw Matt's face and went, zip it. So Shane Boswell in the Tilley district received first place, and I encourage people to talk to Shane and if they want to see the tour, because from the road you see nothing, but in the yard it's lovely. So just an FYI there, if you're driving by, it's not there.
Evident, yeah.
Right, evident. Second place was Francis Hargrave on the south side, north side of Brooks, sorry. And third place was Ernie from, help me, Holly knows.
Bow City, Ernie Matthew.
Thank you. From the Rainier area, Bow City area, okay? So we were all over the county, and it was a great day. for visiting yards. We had a few more applications, I understand, that it just preferred that we not come to visit. So that's how the cookie crumbles, and congratulations to all the winners.
Good to hear. Thank you. Any other, Councillor Johnson, please.
Good morning. What would be the status on Downey Brome in the south? I know we've had some challenges out there other years.
I guess it depends on who you ask, but we did have quite a bit of Downey Brome. We did do some Downey Brome spraying, and just with all the rain, I would say we fell a little bit behind, but we sprayed that Esplanade last year, and that really helped help control the Downey Brome this year. So I would say we definitely seen some improvement this year. Going forward, I think in our program, whenever we spray Downey Brome, I would encourage we're going to put Esplanade in it because just that keeps that seed bank from the next year for it growing. So I definitely think we've had improvement, but yes, so.
Thank you. Follow-up, go ahead, Councillor Johnson.
So that Esplanade, can you give a better explanation? I know some of it, but explain exactly how it works. I'm not clear completely.
Yeah, so the Esplanade works, so it's like a pre-emergent chemical. So you put it in with our Roundup that we would spray on the Downey Brome, and it works so that the Downey Brome isn't going to emerge the next year. So it also controls foxtail as well, which is awesome. So it helps for years to come, and it stays in the soil until you disturb the soil. So in our road ditches and stuff, you're not going to see a lot of disturbance, so it works really well there. So.
Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you for the report, and I'll ask for a motion to accept the Agriculture Fieldman's report. Councillor Kopp makes the motion. All in favor, please indicate. That's carried. Thank you, Catherine. We have a delegation at 10:30 with Dr. Rick Buck. Rick Buck? Okay, sorry, but we'll wait for 10:30 for that. So let's move on to administrative business, item number 10.1. Welcome Lane, the Tilley Area Recreation Funding Agreement update.
Good morning, Council. So this matter is coming back to Council. It's following up on a presentation from the Tilley Recreation Board previously. What we're proposing is that Council move forward with approving a formal funding agreement for the Tilley Recreation Area. The template that this is based on is the same as is in place for Rolling Hills and also for the Patricia area. All that it's doing is formalizing the fact that there is going to be funding made available. This agreement would provide for a 2% bump on an annual basis, just to reflect increased costs that and inflation that is being experienced across the board by all organizations. If Council has some questions, I can try to address those at this time, but the recommendation is that Council approve this agreement as submitted.
Thank you, Lane. Councillor Christman, you have a question?
Yes. So in those other in those other communities, we have agreements with societies. What do we have in Tilley? I asked for a copy of their bylaws when they were in, and nobody seemed to be able to provide those. So I'm just wondering, what backbone do we have with this group of individuals?
Good question, and you're correct. In the other cases with Rolling Hills and Patricia, those are the ag societies that we have the agreements with. In this situation, the Tilley Recreation Board isn't a formal corporate entity.
And Matt, please go ahead.
Yeah, through the chair. Tilley Rec Board is incorporated, so they are a society. I have received the bylaws, which I can circulate for council. The bylaws would benefit from an update, as they're original to 1982, if I'm getting my timelines right. But so it is a legal agreement with an established legal entity.
My apology.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, thanks for that, Matt. Has your question been answered adequately, Councillor Christman?
Yes,
okay.
I would just, you know, when the question is called, I would like to see those bylaws updated and practiced. That's my only caveat to approving.
Okay, thank you. Further question, Councillor Johnson.
Just more of a curiosity. They do have a agricultural society as well. Is that correct? And they've chosen not to go that route as a board to monitor it as the other communities have?
That I am not sure.
Councillor Skanderup, you've got more information on that? Go ahead.
They do have an ag society. This rec board is kind of a holdover from when Tilley was a village. I would say I have some concerns because I don't feel the Tilley rec board is operating as a proper society. So I would like some more investigation into it before I was to agree with this RFD.
Okay, thank you. Councillor, Councillor Johnson.
Yeah, just answering, I guess, for you, Matt. Do you know why they are going through, like, was it not, do we not want to stick with ag societies if the option is there to keep consistent flow? Because most communities, not Division 4, but a lot of them do have an ag society to keep a consistent plan.
So yes, the Tilley Ag Society operates one facility in Tilley, and that's the arena. In Rolling Hills, the Rolling Hills Ag Society actually operates multiple facilities there. This really is an arrangement that was in place when the village of Tilley was still in existence. The arrangement was modified somewhat before Tilley dissolved, and what we have done is really inherited what was in place when the village of Tilley was a corporate entity. So there was different circumstances that applied then. We've simply inherited it and are trying to update it.
Okay, thank you, Matt, and then I'll go to Councillor Screever.
Yeah, through the chair, these are good governance questions and they're important governance questions. So with respect to, would council like to maintain separate agreements with each of the Tilley Ag Society, the Tilley Curling Club, the seniors, the community hall board? So that is an option. Where administratively we've been is, let's at least formalize the arrangement which has been inherited, get something in writing. If governance would like to be revisited by council, my suggestion is this agreement does have a 1-year cancellation, so you could approve the agreement as it is today or as amended if there's changes you'd like to see, and you could give additional direction to administration to pursue whatever governance changes you would like to see. So if you would like to see individual agreements in place with the Tilley Ag Society, we can go down that path, but that does take time with the volunteers in our experience.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Screever.
Yeah, I do think that the volunteers, especially hearing from the fellas from Tilley, the volunteers are tapped. There's so many boards out there and few bodies to work on those boards. So I'd like some streamlining, but what I'd like to see is a consistency in our hamlets, our hamlet recreation agreements and how they're set up. So a consistency similar to whatever we decide or whatever's decided that works well, but it's consistent for all the hamlets. I understand the municipalities are different ball of waxes with their rec boards, but the hamlets are ours, and it would be definitely much easier to work with year after year. The funds are distributed consistently and decided consistently through however we decide that they're done. But we're inheriting something that was a town in the past. We're inheriting their agreement and trying to work with it. Let's get it kind of streamlined with everybody, is my thought.
Okay, Thank you, Councillor Johnson, and then Councillor Cobb.
Just to clarify, I was not suggesting a number of different agreements. I was curious why it isn't under one ag society, which would just seem to make it easier than another board, but I guess each place runs their own way.
And I think maybe that's a detail that we want to hang on to a little bit, that realizing that each hamlet, particularly this one because it was a town, may have some uniqueness that we want to protect, but at the same time, maybe we can, you know, bring some commonality to as much of it as we need to. But I think some flexibility, if that's required by the communities, is probably reasonable as well. But Councillor Kopp, you had a comment.
Well, just on the line of tapping out your volunteers, it kind of seems like that rec board just sits there just to disperse the money and really doesn't do much of anything else. So maybe agreements with all of them would be that much more streamlined even for them, right? Yeah, the way the Patricia rec board works, the money stays here at the county until that rec board decides where, you know, who has applied and whatever, and then the money is dispersed. So like, really, that's being, you know, 4 or 5 separate checks as well. So I don't know that that would be so onerous on admin to have agreements with separate ones either. So just a thought.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Neil Johnson, and then Councillor.
Yeah, I think we should okay the agreement for this year, but give them 1 year. I agree with everything Greg said. It probably won't happen immediately, but that gives a year for them to get some input, get our streamlining done, and get all the hamlets on the same page.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Chrisman.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. They do have some bylaws to update, and that's not an easy task. They need to get approved, and that takes time as well. So I think a 1-year approval is in line and gives them time to talk to other community members as well. We heard that board members were on there for 40 years. So that's not in line with good governances either. So I will make the motion, but I would like to edit it to add that they begin the process, if they choose, they begin the process immediately to update their bylaws. And we will revisit this again next year for approval.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion on the floor. Councillor Johnson.
I'm confused about your wording of if they choose. Can you explain where you're going with that?
So if this board chooses, the present board, if they choose not to do the work, to update their bylaws, then that forces the county to do the extended conversations with other user groups. So that's going to be a telltale sign.
Just a quick question for staff. Is there clarity around this, and does this fit with a practical approach to, I appreciate the direction that we're taking to try to bring things in line. Matt, you've got a comment?
Yeah, a few thoughts come to mind. The rec board really is a bank, middle manager, right? It's local representation from the community for the different tasks that come. They've been pretty disciplined about doling out those dollars and making them do. They have volunteered for casinos, which greases the wheels from time to time. Concern on direction for amending the bylaws. If the direction long-term is to strike individual agreements with the Ag Society Community Hall Board, you might have no need for the rec board, and the effort would be wasted on updating the bylaws. So I think some certainty on the course of action. Does council want to maintain the rec board as part of recreation governance for the Tilley area long-term, or not, might inform whether the bylaw update is worth the effort?
Thanks for that, Matt. Councillor Chrisman.
My thoughts are to acknowledge and honor their wishes as a rec board. They're going to have to update those bylaws. They have to get them approved by Alberta Incorporation, whatever division they're going through. And then they're going to have to follow them. And that's going to be the, they're going to have to rotate chairs. They're going to have to do some things. My question to administration is, are we comfortable with a third party dispensing those funds and guaranteeing that those funds are being dispersed or spent on the items that they're being asked for? Because that is part of our control mechanism here in other communities, is that we know where those recreation dollars are spent as per the receipt that we receive for the files. So that's just a question that I have.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for that, Matt. Go ahead.
Yeah, through the chair, I have confidence in the board, their process for reviewing, doling dollars out. I don't think the dollars are going anywhere nefarious. Would administration be more comfortable if we saw the invoices coming in and out of our bank account directly? Yes. So there is a degree of separation there and limited visibility whenever you've got a middle manager or a middle player.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Neil Johnson.
Yeah, after our experience with Tilley, when the gal got away with a few bucks, quite a few bucks, the way they do it at Patricia is perfect. Send in your invoices, the money's in here, it's secure. I don't know if that has anything to do with what we're talking about, but I think that should be the way it is right across the board.
Okay, and that, just correct me if I'm wrong, but that could be incorporated into the new bylaws as well, or I mean, or we could impose it as part of our funding agreement. Is that, what's the practical way to deal with this? Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, through the chair, I think through the funding agreement is where you get some meat on the bones. The bylaw conversation, I think if administration takes this back to the volunteers, the first question is going to be what part of the bylaws need to be updated. So it might be premature without an itemized list of here's what needs to get baked in. I've got a few of them from our 2014 conversation where council and the board of the day worked on representation on the board loosely, but did not update the board's bylaws at that time. So there's some breadcrumbs we can pick up and we can finish the job on a bylaw update if that's the preferred course of action. I would hate to waste the effort on updating bylaws if the writing's on the wall, and as Councillor Neil suggested, the county is the banker for all direct funds that go out and are dispersed.
Thank you. Follow up, Neil. Councillor Johnson.
Yeah, I think we should, if we're going to do it at Tilley, it's already going to Patricia. No complaints from anybody. Make it a blanket. Let's get everybody the same. That way we know what's going on.
Thank you. Councillor Holly Johnson.
I think I like the idea that we do have a group that oversees to a point, because in Division 4 we have 3 different communities. Everyone comes with proposals. The group meets. The funding comes from the county once financial statements are seen, but it gives the group the flexibility to give to a group who just needs a one-time funding. They're trying to do a project. They come. Yeah, just be careful. I'm just saying if we go group by group and agreement by agreement, we can lose out on groups, right? Because if you're not officially got an agreement, you have to come. It's a lot more onerous. The other thing to consider too is if we're asking receipts to be submitted for everything that is spent as opposed to a lump sum there given for insurance and utilities, it also does put a little more work into the volunteers because they have to, it's another person's job to submit. And I'm just trying to see both sides of it. I think we do want to have more control, but not so much that we're making more work for already stressed volunteers. So it's a balance, I think.
Okay. So I think that speaks to some flexibility maybe, but go ahead.
Maybe just a couple of things to be aware of. Yes, in the case of Rolling Hills and Patricia, the funding is provided, and the board in question is the Ag Society. In Rolling Hills, though, the funds are transferred directly to the Rolling Hills Ag Society. In the case of Patricia, the funds remain with the county, and the Patricia Ag Society simply designates where those funds are to be paid directly from the county to the recipient organizations.
Jim is the same, except.
Correct.
We have an Ag Society.
Yeah. But Rolling Hills is the exception, where the Ag Society actually receives those funds into their bank account, and they manage those funds going forward.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Johnson, you had another comment?
Yeah, to Holly's point there, that well taken, but I think for one thing, who would want to volunteer to be responsible for that money? If the county would do it for nothing, that gets rid of one volunteer. If we're shorthanded, we got secure systems here. I like the idea. I don't think anybody should get their nose out of joint too far because they don't get a lump sum of money that they have to manage.
Okay, thank you.
When we'll do it for nothing.
Councillor Screever?
Yeah, and I agree, Neil, and due to the past with the issues with money, I think the secure county system of doing it is a much better way, where it pulls that stress and that responsibility away from the volunteer and puts it to people that are paid to do that.
Yeah, we've got a motion on the floor. Excuse me. Ready for the question? The motion.
It's option 1 with an amendment.
It's like option 1, except with the addition of that the for lack of a better set of terms, that the Ag Society, that the Recreation Board be encouraged to update their bylaws. And I think that's probably be encouraged, because we weren't forcing that, right? Does that reflect the meaning of your motion, Councillor Chrisman? Okay, ready for the question? From your perspective, this provides clarity that's adequate? Okay. All in favor of the motion, please indicate. Okay, that's carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lane. With that, it being 25 to 11, I'm going to suggest that we go to our pre-scheduled meeting with the Southern Alberta Medical Program. And, I lost my... Matt, do you want to give us background? Oh. I'm going to ask Matt to introduce Rick Buck to us. Oh, welcome, Rick.
Yes, welcome, Rick. Council, Rick Buck is with the Southern Alberta Medical Program. Hopefully I got the acronym right, Rick. This is a big deal. SAMP launched in South Alberta, Lethbridge. We're home-growing future physicians. What is happening down there is going to have positive generational impacts, and part of what Rick's here to do is give you an overview of SAMP, where they're at, and an opportunity for the county to provide some support for this first crop of new physicians they're putting through their program. So with that, Rick, if you can hear me, I think we can hear you. We'll let you take us way through your presentation.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I appreciate this opportunity to talk to the County of Newell. And my apologies, I can't be there in person. I was working an emerge shift last night, so I'll just give you a bit of background. So I'm an emergency room physician from Lethbridge, and I am the Associate Dean of the Southern Alberta Medical Program. And we appreciate this opportunity to present some information about what the Southern Medical Program is and how community partners could potentially get involved. And I just want to confirm you can see my screen with the PowerPoints?
No.
We cannot.
Oh dear. Okay. We'll try again.
Now we've got it.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, so I mean, I think anyone that has accessed healthcare in the past decade has realized that physician supply is in crisis. And we see this very much so in rural communities, that there is increasing physician shortages. So rural hospitals, rural clinics have to compete nationally with other healthcare professionals with bigger centers and towns. And as physicians age, there is more pressure on local systems to take care of that natural attrition. And as well, access to primary care and specialist services does affect the quality of life of folks. So what is the Southern Alberta Medical Program? So this is a sort of a homegrown solution. This is a partnership between the University of Calgary and the University of Lethbridge to train doctors locally. The evidence shows that if you can train physicians, first of all, if you can recruit them from local areas and then train them locally, they are more likely to stay local. Where they train and where they do the majority of the training really does matter. They will develop a professional network when they stay local. They'll build relationships when they stay local as well too, which may lead to future practice opportunities. Rural placements are also instrumental in them constructing their professional identity and how they identify as a potential rural or regional physician. If we look at some of the distributed medical education campuses across the country, the prototypical one is the one in Northern Ontario, which is the Northern Ontario School of Medicine. And they have a fairly good retention rate, and they've been doing this for over 2 decades. What we're realizing, and I feel this as well too, is that recruitment for physicians is no longer the healthcare system's, I'm going to say responsibility, but it's nothing that they can solve on their own. Physicians need support from all aspects, not only the healthcare system where they work, as well as support for their family and their friends. So community support for housing, for recreational services, making sure their families and their spouses feel integrated into the community with things such as extracurricular activities, schools, and employment opportunities for those families. So the County of Newell can influence the next generation of physicians. There are opportunities through the county, through places where there are clinics such as Bassano and Brooks, to have rural learners with them. So by investing in the future physicians of Southern Alberta, we're hoping that they see this as a place where they can actually set up their careers. This is the first class of SAMP of 2029. They're actually in class right now behind me. This is a fantastic group of 20 students. We were very specific, and when we did our admissions program, to see if we could identify folks that were interested in training rurally and regionally who might want to set up practice. And happy to report that a good portion of the students that were recruited this year are from south of Calgary. So these folks are learning about diabetes this week. When students feel welcomed to their community, they feel that this could be a place where they could set up practice. So an investment in supporting the student when they turn into residents and when they turn into attending physicians is an investment in the community's health. So people who train in a local area are more likely to stay there. So with that, I will stop my presentation and I'll take any questions from council.
Thank you, Dr. Buck, for that very succinct presentation. I appreciate that, and I think you're speaking our language. I think our county in this region has been quite active in doctor attraction and retention, and we've got I think what has been a fairly successful initiative in that regard, and certainly applaud what this initiative have been watching things get going in Lethbridge, and really appreciate the fact that this is beginning. So thank you for that, and I'll open the floor for questions from council members. And I guess one of the questions I'd have, excuse me, up front is what are you thinking of when you talk about an investment with specific to the County of Newell at this point?
So I think we're looking at two things. First of all, a monetary donation with acknowledgement to the County of Newell for student-led events would be much appreciated. As well, if the county has promotional materials that we could distribute to the students, we would welcome that as well too.
Okay, thank you for that. I think we certainly have promotional materials and initiatives to attract medical professionals to our community. Are there any other questions from council? Matt, go ahead, please.
Yeah, through the chair, I'd maybe ask Dr. Buck, can you give council a little background about the Intro to Professionalism ceremony slated for August 17th?
You bet. It's not going to be in September. This works out better for the students, but on September the 12th, we're going to be having an event for the students where we welcome them to the profession. So we'll be bringing the dean from Calgary down, as well as members of the governance from the University of Lethbridge, local physicians, to welcome them to the profession of medicine. This will be held in Lethbridge this year at the Galt Museum and Archives. For that event, we're looking for some sponsorship. So approximately $1,000 would be much appreciated from the County of Newell if this is something that's interesting to you. These type of events are really important in the professional identity formation of the students. Seeing the having them be welcomed to becoming a physician by the dean and by other physicians is very important.
Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you for your presentation, and we'll certainly consider the request for supporting that welcoming ceremony to the profession. I think that's a great initiative. And thank you for what you do and for your assistance in helping keeping medical professionals in our communities. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate being on your agenda. Bye-bye.
Thank you. With that, I think the ask is relatively modest. I think that we've seen initiatives from the Rural Physician Attraction Initiative when they've brought potential or practicing physicians to our area, the dynamic that creates, and I think this has got great opportunity as well. Councillor Johnson, you've got.
I'm not opposed to this at all. I'm just curious are they going to have a direct relationship with physician attraction retention, that group, or yes, that's in the works? Okay.
Yeah. Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, Dr. Buck was actually very complimentary to our group of local doctors who are very eager to land these new students up here in their practice. So,
and I think they're quite fully engaged with that initiative in Lethbridge, you know, as are other communities, I suppose, but I think we have a good place there. Councillor Baumgarten and then Councillor Johnson.
I'm willing to make that motion to contribute the $1,000 to their upcoming event.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor. Question or comment? That was the same initiative. Any other questions? Ready for the question? All in favor that we contribute $1,000 to this initiative, please indicate. Opposed? Okay, that's carried. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to requests 10.2, requests for functions of council. Are there any functions of council requested? Seeing none.
Hi, Brian.
Oh, what was that? Are we disconnected from the?
I got 1 minute.
I don't.
See what else? Yeah. Sure, I'll do that right now. Yep. Bye.
Okay. Let's move on to committee reports then. And I have a list. And it will include, this week we had a number of people attending Penwar, and I'm going to suggest that after the other committee reports, we discuss a few highlights of the Penwar conference as well. But I'm going to start with the City of Brooks Recreation and Parks Board, Councillors Screever and Neil Johnson.
Yeah, there's a couple things. The board did approve a recommendation to the City of Council for a 5% increase in user fees. this is going to be an ongoing task within our board to compare, have staff compare with other similar type of municipalities so that we are kind of in line. This is, it seems like it's an ongoing thing with this board to make sure that we are charging the right amount to the people that pay. So that's being worked on. The city council took the recommendation, but they approved the 3%, I believe, Neil, on that one. So they didn't really follow what the board recommended, but there was a bit of an increase from the city on that. They make the final decision on that. The other thing is we're going through our bylaws, and the indication was to we have a pretty sizable board. There's 14 people on that board. We're looking at streamlining it a bit down to 11. So the indication, and this has been thrown around the City of Brooks councillors and things also, but the indication is to bring only one councillor to this board from the county, and there'd be one from the city also. We're dropping it from 2 to 1. And also dropping the members at large from 3 to 2, 2 from the county, 2 from the city. Currently, there's 3, so it just brings down the size of the table a bit. All of the reason why this board is growing is because we have a number of school boards represented in the area, and that would be Grasslands, Christ the Redeemer, and the Conseil Scolaire Franco-Sud School Division. I'm sorry for butchering that, but I'm not real good at French. So maybe I should have gone to that school. But anywho, so they have an equal say on this board, so they do have a vote. Similar to what the county would. So yeah, the one thing that the City of Brooks has asked the county is to it's not written in the bylaws, but the city at large applications for appointment to the committee shall be reviewed by the committee, which shall provide a recommendation to the council. And then that also says the city member of the committee, let's see. The former, they're asking that reappointment of these members. They're indicating that no reappointment shall occur unless a vacancy has been advertised in an open competitive selection process has been completed. So the city are looking at doing this every 2 years. That means that the advertising in an open competitive selection process. I don't know if we do that or when we appoint our board members, or sorry, our members at large. Right now, I don't believe we do that, but what's that?
Go ahead.
Yeah, through the chair, it sounds like a rec board process.
The city is asking us to openly advertise.
Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, so through the chair, clarifying question. The city wants us to advertise for their rec board?
For the members at large.
Interesting.
For the members at large appointed by the county. So they're going to be applying this to the city member at large. They want the county to also have the same procedure for that. So that's something that that we thought, well, we should bring this to council, and and get some clarification from council on whether we want to do that, follow that procedure or not.
Okay, thank you. Question, Councillor Christman?
Yeah, just for clarification, we already do that, do we not?
Matt, go ahead.
We'll advertise for our boards. I'm a little unclear why we would advertise for another organization's boards, but it sounds like I need to put my head together with my counterpart across the tracks and sort out whatever administrative process makes the most sense.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I'll just read this again. A current or former city member of the committee may be eligible for reappointment. However, no reappointment shall occur unless the vacancy has been advertised in an open, competitive selection process has been completed. That this is something new to this bylaw. So the city is asking that the county match so that they can put that into this bylaw also when we put a county member on this committee.
Okay.
So that's something that that we should probably clarify.
We can review that for further consideration, future consideration, I expect. Hey, Councillor Johnson, you've got...
I think that applies after they've served two terms, right? 2 years. Is it just 2 years?
Sorry, yeah, after this is a 2-year term, and then they want an open, basically they want to see new people on the board is what the city is saying. My opinion is it is difficult to find people to go on this board, and it takes a couple years to get your feet wet, like any other board, to really know what's going on. So I'm not really in favor of this, but this is something that maybe administration should,
Thanks. Is it reasonable to get further clarification and then we can consider this?
I think so. I don't know when, I know this bylaw is looking at, is there, I don't know if there's a timeline on getting this bylaw set. I don't know if it happens at the end of our term here. I'm not 100% sure, so.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Johnson?
Yeah, it's kind of a funny board because it's happened several times in the time Greg and I have been there. The rec board will make a recommendation, but everything actually comes out of committee at City Hall. They've changed things around on us several times. So it's almost a meaningless committee to be on.
Okay, thank you. Well, we'll review this further in the future, right? Yeah. Can we move on, or are there, I see some people scratching their heads. Any other questions? Okay, let's move on. Okay, Newell Housing Foundation, Adina, Councillor Scandrup and Councillor Screever, please.
Okay, just a couple of things. I did circulate those pictures of the tiny houses, or whatever you want to call them. Councillor Christman did ask me about the name change, and we're still working with Alberta Infrastructure on transferring that, but we got permission to build, and we have the development permit, so we're going ahead, and it's in the works to have it transferred, the land title transfer. It just hasn't quite happened yet. So it's in the works. So, and the only other thing I was going to add, and I may have said this last time, now that your child tax credit is included as income when you're applying for subsidized housing, 75 families have been dropped from the list because of that.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Screever, something to add?
Yeah, and the concern about the land titles transfer was that we wouldn't get, we were concerned that we wouldn't get a development permit without the land title change. So we ended up getting a development permit, even though the land titles hasn't gone through, which is now, I mean, it can take however long. It doesn't much matter because we have the development permit now. So it is a positive piece of news.
Okay, thank you. Any questions regarding Newell Housing Foundation? Thank you for that report. Let's move on to Rolling Hills Recreation Board's rec area. Councillor Baumgarten, please.
Yeah, thanks. Just a few updates. Had a meeting. It was actually more of a town advisory update meeting, but the Ag Society kind of runs things out there as we've kind of already discussed. So have our hand on the wheel for most of the stuff. There was considerable concern in the hamlet about irrigation repairs, how long they took, but most folks were concerned about the lack of communication. So a protocol has been put in place. A lady in the community has set up a widely distributed email, and those have been coming out hot and heavy as things are updated, and people are much more happier. It's not so much the particulars of the repairs, just what's going on and how long is it going to take and when can I water my lawn and garden. So it's been rectified, I think, to a certain extent. At least the grumbling has quieted down quite a bit. And then one of the other things is for the campground, the Ag Society has said no more overwintering, even though it wasn't in the bylaws, so it already wasn't necessarily permitted, or it wasn't permitted before, but it was kind of ipso facto permitted because the county was issuing tax bills and people were paying them. So I don't think it was really a big issue, but we've just resolved it. When the water goes off, everybody's out. So that's been taken care of. And yeah, I think those were the major highlights.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Baumgarten. Any questions? Seeing none, let's move on. Last week, the Ag Service Board provincial tour happened in Wheatland County, which is, I think, the first one since COVID. It's been delayed, or that was I think an annual practice, or annual probably, in a council somewhere, or a county somewhere, and we had several members attending. Councillor Chrisman, you had a report with regard to that, and I'm going to say that all of the attendees can probably contribute to that. Is that?
That's what
and
I was
I think
hoping.
that's a good idea. I mean, it's fresh. Well, it's fresh in your mind. Let's talk about it, and if you have something to kick it off, or.
I was just going to say that it was fairly well attended. The organizing committee would have liked to have seen more folks there. I did think it was very well organized and very good timing. I thought their topics of choice were good. There was some surprises for me, having been there before, and so that was good. And anybody else that attended that wants to give their thoughts?
Who else was there? Councillor Holly Johnson, Councillor Kopp.
Councillor Neil Johnson would be very happy to know how they've improved the soil with rotational grazing and sheep. It's actually really quite fascinating, the improvement in the land they've seen, and I don't know how they managed to graze 600 sheep well rotationally, but somehow they're doing it. So it's pretty cool.
Good, thank you. Any other highlights?
We got a tour and a little discussion from the spray plane company, and he just talked about drones and things like that, and the spray drones, and if he was concerned about his business, he feels that the drones aren't quite there yet to do the job as appropriately as they can. But so I found that very interesting, because that has been the big push for a lot of people, and we got to see a demonstration of a spray flight, I guess you want to say. So I thought that was a pretty good one. Oh, there were so many things.
Right, that's good to hear. I had the opportunity to attend the banquet on the Wednesday night because we had a ticket, so I attended. I thought the collaboration was great. I mean, couldn't stay for the tours and that, but appreciated the fact that we had good representation there. And where is it next year? Does anyone know?
Nobody's taken it.
Hasn't taken it on yet. We might consider it at some point in the future, maybe. Hey, Councillor Johnson.
At the Penmore conference this week, I was talking to a delegate who was from Mackenzie County, and he said, "Oh, County of Newell. Yeah, I was there on an Ag Service Board tour." I said, "Yeah, I think it was 2014," and he said, "Yeah, that was the best tour ever." So just hats off to the county. He said of all the ones he went to, that was by far the best. So I just wanted to share that.
Good to hear. I also have heard that from someone, I can't remember who, but it was probably not the same person. So that, and I wasn't on council at the time, but do remember the tours getting out into the region. I know there was one out in, set up buses that went out to GEM, so well organized. Anything else from the ASB tour? Go ahead, Councillor.
I just want to mention the afternoon of Thursday, we visited a charter school. This charter school is closely related to the 4-H Club. Their motto is learn to do by doing, and they ended their first school year in June with 130 students. They're planning their startup for 230 students. Their maximum is 260. They are located south of the Husky set of lights, south and a little bit east in the county of Wheatland. And what a great setup. That's all I can say. It's an option. It's not for everybody, granted. You have to drive your students in and drive your students out daily. It's 4 days a week, 8:30 to 3:30 daily, and Fridays are off. But certainly some energetic, certified teachers involved there, and yeah, we'll just keep our eyes open for that.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Kopp, something like that?
We could probably talk all day about everything that we learned on there. There's also an institute just south of Bazzano that works with, south of Strathmore, sorry, that works with the zoo, the Calgary Zoo, and they are repopulating the leopard frogs in some places in BC, so they are breeding them there, AI breeding them there. They also rehabilitate burrowing owls. They bring them in and get them grown up to reintroduce, as well as several families of marmots is the animals we got to see at that time. There was also a zebra there. They have a quarantine facility, so animals that come into the country can go there to be quarantined before they head to the zoo. And
is it the Wilder Foundation?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
That was very cool too.
Yeah, good to see. Councillor Johnson, did you have a question or a comment? Okay, good. Anything else? Good to see there was a good experience. I'm going to suggest that we similarly review the Penwar conference that just concluded, I guess, officially yesterday, but Wednesday and Thursday this week from Sunday night. Attending was Councillor Neil Johnson, Councillor Holly Johnson, Councillor Baumgarten, Councillor Chrisman, and myself. I think that that was the first time the county has been represented there. I've attended in at least one previous conference. It's a very regional. It's the Penwar Pacific Northwest Economic Region, which is the states of Alaska, Washington, Idaho, Montana, Washington, I said Washington, and what, the Dakotas, I don't think. But in the provinces of Alberta, Saskatchewan, and British Columbia, well attended by legislators from all of those, and the Yukon territories, well attended by legislators from all of the regions, 600 plus delegates at the convention. Well run. It was actually initiated in the 90s by relatively local MLA at the time. Honorable Jim Horseman was quite involved in the start of the Penwar region discussions. So a number of highlights. Catherine, could you put up some pictures of the hydrogen hub? One of the things that attracted us to it this year was the invasive species discussion, which was several presentations, and also hydrogen hub. Oh yeah, there. Okay, I was able to get on the hydrogen hub tour, which was limited and there's quite a bit of room actually once they got going. So that's the hydrogen filling station at the Ellerslie Edmonton Transit Station, which is a big initiative on the south side of Edmonton. I'll just go through those quickly, and then next one, that's the County of Newell there. Oh, that's a different picture. That's the results of one of the tornadoes that went through, and that's just an interest picture, but basically a forest area, that would have been a 30-foot forest that was just wiped out. Anywhere from 6 to 10 foot tall trees just shattered. Do you have any of the other pictures, or they didn't come through? It's fine if they didn't. Anyway, they took us out to the Alberta Motor Transport Association, is right in that Ellerslie area as well, and they give us rides on a fuel cell supported electric vehicle that was hydrogen fuel cells, and it's quite fascinating. I don't think that's probably that's an interesting energy source for the future, and certainly they presented as, excuse me, what kind of was similar to the way we think of ourselves is all forms of energy. Like there's a wide range of forms of energy, and Edmonton Transit, for example, is, I mean, we've all heard about the experience they've had with electric buses and the loss of them. They haven't given that up, but that's, you know, they've learned the hard way on some of that. But also approaching all forms of energy. They had a number of buses that were dual fuel set up, and some of them were aware of the initiative that is being considered in Newell as well. So that's the fueling station. We watched a bus be fueled. So anyway, that's interesting. One of the other things I found interesting, lots of collaboration at the Penwar conference. I mean, I think that's one thing that stood out to us is people are interested in collaboration and talking to each other. One of the things, you know, in terms of successful economic corridors, focuses on systems operation, long-term vision for a region, and then helping businesses adapt to and being agile to investment and activity. So I thought it was an excellent conference. Are there others who would want to comment on that? I think Councillor Johnson, go ahead.
Yeah, it was well run. They were on the clock at the end of the hour and a half. The buzzer hit and they were finished each thing. The topics were, I went to one called quantum computing, which just absolutely blew me away. I understood absolutely hardly a word of it, but it was fantastic. Got a book called Quantum Supremacy, which I ordered. I'll give it a copy to you guys, so you can try and catch on to. But that's definitely the wave of the future. Data centers, the one that's going at Sturgeon, they're looking for between $20 to $40 million to the county. That come from the mayor's mouth. Yeah, it was fantastic. One thing I did notice down there, all the American politicians are about 10 years older than I am. Bunch of old guys, and the Alberta politicians are Ben's age. So no, it was without a doubt the best conference as far as topics went to that I've ever been to, and really easy to meet people. And they did put us up in a very, very, very nice hotel.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Who else? Councillor Baumgarten, go ahead.
Just a couple of the highlights. I mean, we could talk a long time, but one interesting contact I made at one of the coffees or whatever was the fleet services manager for City of Edmonton. He's saying they are having issues with the trucks. So I don't know if you've met Varjinder Chain Lane, but I can give you his contact information. He'd be willing to. He didn't give me a ton of detail on it, just he expressed concern as to how things were going. Not saying this is a huge red flag, but I think why relearn something somebody else has. With regards to AI, a sobering thing I heard was there's currently no regulatory regime or legislation for AI. So if something goes sideways or AI goes rogue, there's no infrastructure in place to deal with it. So it's just something that seems to be done on the fly as everything gets rolled out. So I just, background cautionary tale in general for society, I guess, more than anything. All delegates expressed large concern that CUSMA USMCA gets passed or renegotiated. I think that's kind of an obvious statement, but yet TBD in terms of how that actually gets done. Everybody wants it done, but so encourage everyone to encourage their government representatives to support it any way they could. Ambassador Hoekstra's thing was a lot of good things to say in terms of positive relationship, but there really was nothing concrete at all in his talk. The bourbon thing was kind of a nice icebreaker and kicked things off, but I also took it as a bit of a backhand in terms of people pulling American booze off shelves. But anyways, it was still pretty cool. And hydrogen too, the CPKC hydrogen locomotives they have in their switching yard in Edmonton was really cool. They're really high on the functionality of it, and they seem to be able to generate their needs, at least for that localized area, via solar array and electrolysis, but a TBD, but really encouraging work. They said the maintenance-wise, it's a fraction of a diesel locomotive's cost, which is kind of true of anything electrical. You pay a lot of money up front, but then you don't have to maintain it. So, yeah, those are kind of the highest level highlights. There was a bunch of other stuff, but it's all I have right now, I think.
Thank you, Councillor Baumgarten. Go ahead, Councillor Johnson.
Thank you. In general, I found that people at this conference were much willing to talk and exchange ideas, really seeing the value in collaboration cross-border. Had some great conversations with councillors from Washington, especially, but just really interesting things. Amazing how much is going on in our neighboring, neighboring area of Cypress County around Suffield, the drones, what they're working on there, what's happening, the work that needs to be done in the north to secure the northern part of the country, just things you wouldn't think about. They want to put some major infrastructure into airports. So right now, a lot of runways are just gravel and small planes. They need to fix a lot of that so we can up the security in the north. So that was a discussion. Short line rail is also a hot topic in terms of CN wants to take out some rail lines and people want to keep them and actually build on, seeing it as a reliable form of transportation. It's incredible how much moves out of the port in Vancouver. As they said, and I was guilty of this as well, you go to downtown Vancouver and you see this huge port working and you think, oh, that's pretty good. And she says, no, that's one of 29. So just incredible what we're actually moving out of this country. You don't even realize, or in, and how many of our trains are going empty, heading west, going east full, and how we can maybe capitalize on some of that in terms of value added. So just a lot of things that made your brain kind of go, wow, how can we use this? How can we fit this into our world? A little bit more on the data centers and taxation and talking to different municipalities, what different municipalities have heard in terms of tax they would get off it. There's a great divide when you hear one saying, oh, we'll get this much. The next one says, no, we looked into it and it's not what anybody is saying. So again, I don't know anything about that, but just shows that how much of it is a bit of still of a rodeo out there in terms of regulations, what could happen, what if something goes wrong. There's just lots of unanswered questions that still need to be dug into. All in all, though, a fabulous conference, and the hotel was really good. There were 3 problems. I need to get moved because of a water problem and a couple other things, and they hand delivered a bottle of wine to my room as an apology, and I thought, wow, and a handwritten note. When did you ever get that at a hotel? It was quite something. I think Ariane actually deserves the bottle of wine because she has to handle all the problems.
Thank you. Well served, I think. Anything to add, Councillor Christman?
I think it was pretty well covered. It's 413 miles of CN rail that they're proposing to close down, and that's across Canada. But there's some interest, as Councillor Johnson mentioned, in the short line possibly picking it up for a fee. The interesting part was that there is a line proposed. Alberta government has approved a private rail line from Calgary to Edmonton. It's going to be a fast rail. They have no idea of costs or where it's going to be. They just know that they're planning to build their own rail. They're not planning to use somebody else's. So that'll be interesting to see. It'll cut the drive down from, it's 3 hours presently. They're saying an hour and 50 minutes, 2 hours, with intermittent stops, Red Deer, Leduc, a few places along the way. So that's futuristic, but that's in the works. It's in the plans. And I'll be doing a full report, and I'll be sure to share that with you.
Okay, thank you. I think with regard to aquatic invasive species, certainly the Penwar region is one of the few regions that is so far mostly free of zebra mussels or the aquatic invasive species. And so one of the initiatives that I think may take some legs as a result of this is some research to try to contain that spread. It is already in eastern Saskatchewan, so it's a very real threat, and I think it was good to see the regional recognition of taking some defense against that, because it would be devastating for our region. Okay, I don't think there's too much else. Lots of other information that was surfaced, as was said, and we'll hear more. With that, let's move to post-agenda items, and there are none. We have a few information items circulated, so we are a little bit past our end of meeting time, but I will accept a motion to move in camera. Councillor Kopp moves, we move in camera. I'm going to suggest that we reconvene in 5 minutes. Is that reasonable? Okay.